What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. It looks like we've got some pretty interesting news. Now, again, I am not a doctor, and I think you should listen to yours. And if you don't trust the one you've got, you should find one that you do trust. And I also like to preface anytime I talk about this kind of stuff, I don't judge anyone for making their own personal decisions with what they did with their health. I know there's a lot of people out there that carry a lot of regret and are worried about what may or may not be in their arm. There are a lot of people with no regrets. None of that's any of my business. But I do think the whole, cover your rear end stuff that gets put in place for a lot of these pharmaceutical companies is not good for Americans, especially when, corporations and the military and the police and federal agencies force people to get these things. Well, a new study from Yale, a bombshell new study, has shown that there's extreme body changes linked to the jab. We're going to talk about that in today's video. By the way, I know I've been telling you guys about my K-Cups over on Amazon. I know you're sick of hearing of it. I just want to let you know one other thing here. If you search for, blueberry coffee K-Cups or blueberry coffee or gingerbread K-Cups, however you find it, if you scroll down, the absolute cheapest way to buy our K-Cups is if you pick the one you want, and then you go down here and you pick a pack of 72. The 72 plus you get 10% off if you subscribe and save. This is like $30 cheaper per case than our website. So we have like 10 or 12 cases available of our dark roast, blueberry, medium roast, gingerbread, strawberry. Pick up a case today and do the subscribe and save if you already like it, or if you don't, it's still super cheap. Gingerbread coffee, blueberry coffee, or search coffee brand coffee, you'll find our stuff. And please, 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 if you do pick one up, leave a review. I'm up against people with thousands and thousands of reviews, but I have you, and they don't have you. And I know I can get a bunch of reviews if everyone who buys it leaves one. So please remember to scroll down by the reviews and leave one. Jab victims left disabled after taking jab react to bombshell Yale study that found that the shots caused extreme changes in the body. When a new Yale University study identified a debilitating syndrome linked to the jab, Lindy Ayers breathed a sigh of relief. The 31-year-old Army veteran, who, by the way, was forced to take this jab, has been wheelchair-bound ever since she took her second Pfizer jab back in 2021 as part of the government's military mandate. Now, of course, lots of people, millions of people, took this and had no side effects or very mild side effects. My position on this is simply that I don't like that the people that did have side effects aren't allowed to sue them. And I don't like that somebody like, a police officer or a pilot or whatever, who got fired for not taking it, or who did take it to keep their job, they've got no restitution. They've got no retribution. You can either get fired or you can take this thing, and you can't sue your job, and you can't sue the company that hurt you. You can't sue the government. I just don't think that that's good. And I don't care if you're a liberal, conservative, libertarian, socialist, anarchist. I think we'd all agree on that. 4 years ago, she was told her extreme fatigue and sickness and heart palpitations were anxiety. Then doctors said it was long coof. She was branded an anti-jabber for suggesting it could have been from the jab. Thousands of Americans have reported similar stories. Thousands. And, anybody who, we know now, this isn't even up for debate. We know now that, anybody who had any questions about it or who were, maybe considering not getting it, they were getting banned, like Dr. Robert Malone. They were getting censored. They were getting deboosted. They were getting branded. At the very least, you were branded an anti-jabber, this, that, or the other thing. And, it's not fair. It's ridiculous. And, and then anybody who had any kind of side effects from it were also branded these things, even though they very clearly had them. Thousands of Americans have reported similar stories. After the study news dropped, now that the study's out there, you're going to see many, many more people coming forward, I would suspect. Daily Mail spoke to dozens of Americans, including those in healthcare, law, and the military, who said they felt a sense of validation after the years of being dismissed as crazy. Dr. Trevor Kyler, a 39-year-old biology professor from Minnesota who describes himself as pro-jab and pro-science, has been forced to cut his work hours after suffering extreme tremors and fatigue following his Moderna jab. For years, doctors told him his symptoms were not related to the jab and were probably just long coof. The doctor, who said that he used to be a very healthy, outdoorsy person, has now has trouble staying active with his wife and their 2 children. Of course, the jabs made by Moderna and Pfizer are estimated to have saved tens of millions of lives. I don't know, I'm unfamiliar with that study, including 3 million in the US. But experts have said the push to quell damaging anti-jab misinformation has left those with genuine post-jab injuries treated like outcasts. Well, if you remember at the start of this, they did not want anybody expressing any kind of jab hesitancy. They did not want you saying anything like, I don't know about this, or maybe this. Nope, they did not want any of that. You were banned off social media. You were a social pariah. People hated you. You were called a lunatic, a tinfoil hatter. And again, I don't judge anybody who made whatever decision they had to make for their own life. That's their decision to make and none of my business. And if you followed me long enough, you know that that's always been my position. I said, hey, consult your doctor, figure out what you got to do is best, whatever's best for you. Now, I don't know a single person who didn't get the jab that regrets not getting it. I don't know, maybe you do, but I don't know a single one who didn't get it and regrets it and doesn't regret it. I'm sorry, who didn't get it and regrets not getting it. Those people don't exist. There are people who did get it and regret it. Almost everyone I talked to who got it has some level of, uncertainty, especially because of the way it was covered and the way people were banned and silenced off social media and things like that. Now, listen to this. In this small study, Yale researchers found patients with previously unknown post-jab syndrome show distinct biological changes. The most common symptoms appear to be brain fog, dizziness, tinnitus, which is like, isn't that the ringing in your ear that's incurable? Exercise intolerance, well, I have that, a feeling of exhaustion, and limited exercise. In patients with the syndrome, the jab also appears to awaken a dormant virus known as Epstein-Barr and interfere with people's immune systems in complicated ways that we still don't understand. This is the problem. And look, a lot of Trump supporters always want to forget about Operation Warp Speed. Now, Trump was not in favor of requiring the jab. I know he allegedly got it. He didn't force it on people as far as I remember. But, this is the problem with every major news people saying, you got to go out, you got to get this. You don't want to, you don't want something to happen to grandma. You got to go get it. You got to go get it. You got to go get it. Parents were taking their 3-year-old kids to get this and then posting the picture online for clout. The Yale experts also emphasized that the results are still a work in progress, but they highlighted a need for further studies. Mrs. Ayers believes that she does have the syndrome. She was in peak physical performance when she received 2 doses of the Pfizer jab in 2021. 2 months later, she was in a wheelchair. Doctors dismissed the symptoms as anxiety, prescribed antidepressants, why wouldn't they? But Ms. Ayers told the Daily Mail that her condition soon started rapidly declining. Her regular 10-mile runs and 20-mile bike rides quickly dwindled. She suffered muscle tears, ACL tears, things like that. During an art class, she passed out, saying she couldn't see, she couldn't hear, and now she's been in a wheelchair ever since. For a year and a half, doctors assumed that she had long coof due to elevated levels of spike proteins. Persistent spike proteins in the body are thought to cause some of long coof's symptoms, fatigue, brain fog, and more, by keeping the body in a constant state of inflammation. It wasn't until after 2023, 2 years after receiving the jab, that doctors at the Veterans Affairs of Stanford University even diagnosed her with chronic fatigue from jab residuals. Miss Ayers, see, the thing is, the doctors, in my opinion, many doctors are in on it. They don't want to say, they can't say that this is because of Pfizer or because of Moderna. That would be career ending. You know, I don't believe that. I mean, I believe that some doctors are honest and truthful, but I believe the whole healthcare system. I have a lot of concerns when it taught when any I have concerns now that I never had before 2020. Are you like that? I mean, I never had any concerns about it before. If my doctor said, "Hey, you got to do this," I'd be like, "Sure." You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't I do that? But now I'm like, man, I don't know because of everything that happened after 2020. You know, and she's not the only one. She says she's not anti-jab. I think they help people, but I think this specific one hurt a lot of people. It'd be cool if more people understood that it can hurt people so that doctors will research for a cure for what I'm going through. Erica Evers, a 42-year-old former legal compliance worker from Iowa, was reluctant to take the Moderna jab when her employers mandated it. However, she told Daily Mail that she would have risked losing her job and her health insurance. She needed to pay for treatment for her son's chronic health issues. She said, "I had to choose between his life and my own, and it's not a choice when you're a mother." A day after her first dose, she developed blurry vision in her right eye and couldn't see everything directly in front of her. It was terrifying. It worsened after her second dose, leading for her to speak to an eye doctor specializing in the retina, the tissue at the back of the eye that helps the brain, help you see. The doctor, of course, diagnosed her with a retinal hemorrhage, or bleeding at the back of the eye, which is treated by monthly injections in the eye. Government has big lobbies in, Pfizer and Moderna. We can't upset them. Again, scientists describe rare syndromes following the COOF jab. In a small study, because it's a small study, ignore it. I think they should expand the study. I think that Donald Trump should fund these studies. Actually, I think Pfizer and Moderna should pay for these studies. Because I suspect as more understandings come out, we're going to hear a lot more people finally, getting some answers to the questions they've long been wondering. Thanks again for everyone for helping me work to get my coffee K-Cups going on Amazon. You can search, dark roast coffee K-Cups, blueberry coffee, coffee brand coffee. And when you get to the K-Cups, don't forget there's a 72 pack down here that's discounted heavily, and you can also get 10% off. So if you already like the blueberry, our medium roast, or our dark roast, you'll save a lot of money picking it up on Amazon. I only ask you try to remember to scroll down and buy the customer reviews. You can write a customer review yourself. Take some pictures, leave a review. It would be great if more people saw that, we were a strong company with lots of customers. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. We'll talk to you again real soon.